Well, they say everything's for sale at the right price. Probably mostly true, but I think I have a handful of records I don't think there is a price for. Stay tuned to find out why. Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Revolutions. I'm Rob. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new. It's been a while. No, I'm not over the tragic, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching loss in the World Series, but I got to get back to making videos anyway. So, today's video is a response to Cam over at the Vinyl Narrative. I had the pleasure of being on a live stream with Cam a couple weeks ago. He's got a great channel. Please check him out. I'll leave a link in the description below. And he's put out a challenge to a few of us. Not a challenge, but a solicitation, if you will. He did a great video of 5 records that he would never sell. I have never sold a single record. Not one ever. My collection is pretty lean. I mean, that's 30 years. So everything I buy, I listen to. I don't have a lot kicking around that I would ever consider selling because I don't need to thin the herd. So, but as a thought exercise, if I had to, and I could only keep 5, and that was hard to narrow down. Most of these are for sentimental reasons. So check out Cam's video. I'm going to show you the 5 records in my collection that under no circumstances will I ever sell. You got to bury them with me. The first one for me, no-brainer, and I've showed this before. It's my Beatles Butcher cover. Third State Mono. It's in terrible shape. The record's all scuffed up. It does have the inner sleeve, with the ad inner sleeve in it, but it's in rough shape. I don't care. There are Butcher covers out there. I've only ever seen one other one in person. But if you're willing to spend enough money, you could buy a Butcher cover. So would I ever sell this? No, even though I could, if I had money, buy a better one. This was my holiest of holy grails when I was a teenager in the 90s, buying records when no one else was. And when I was listening to the Beatles in the mid-90s when all my friends were into Nirvana and Pearl Jam and all that kind of stuff, I wanted a Beatles Butcher cover. I thought it was unattainable. And it took me 20 years to find one. So partly because this is, it's not common by any means. It's rare, but not unattainable. But because it's rare and because it took me 20 years to find this, so there's a sentimental attachment as well. So without question, I will never, ever part with my Beatles Butcher cover. The next one that came instantly to mind is Rodriguez Cold Fact, and this is a South African first pressing from whenever this came out in the early 70s. If you don't know Sixto Rodriguez, there's a documentary called Searching for Sugar Man, which came out, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. He was a folk singer in Detroit in the early 70s, put out this album which flopped, put out a follow-up that flopped, went on his life as a construction worker, unbeknownst to him, became a massive success in Australia and South Africa. South Africa in particular, I guess his music resonated with the anti-apartheid movement, and he outsold the Beatles and Elvis. Unknown to him for better part of 30 years almost. It's an incredible story. No one in South Africa knew who he was. He was just this guy named Rodriguez, and there's all kinds of urban legends about how he'd taken his own life on stage, and just no one knew anything about him. They eventually tracked him down. He eventually played concerts in South Africa and then ultimately toured the world and got his just rewards. I became a big fan. It's an incredible story. I like the music. I've seen him in concert. I've met him very, very briefly. So the key part to that story is Rodriguez in South Africa. So I really wanted to find a South African first pressing of Cold Fact. and I got one about 10 years ago. So we'll never sell this again. Not the most common thing in the world, especially here in North America, but also because there's some sentimentality to it as well. Okay, the next one that I will never sell, I've shown this before as well. This is Delaney and Bonnie and Friends on tour with Eric Clapton. A fantastic Southern roots rock revival, folk rock revival, kind of, I don't know. It's incredible. From the 70s, Delaney and Bonnie, Clapton, Dave Mason, Bobby Whitlock. Incredible. Not hard to find at all. But why this one? Because this was my dad's favorite album. And this is his copy. It's got his name on the back there. So I love this record. I have just about everything else Delaney and Bonnie did. I didn't listen to them when my dad was still alive, unfortunately. Sort of came into them later, but I know when he passed away that I kept this because it was his favorite. And when I eventually started listening to it, I loved it. So wish I could have shared this with Dad, but I have his copy. I have several of his records, but this is the one that means the most. Absolutely treasure it. It's priceless as far as I'm concerned. Anyone who watches my channel knows that I talk about these guys a lot because they are my favorite band. This is Blue Rodeo, and this is their album from 1999, Days in Between. This is autographed by the entire band. I have a ton of Blue Rodeo memorabilia. I have set lists. I have all kinds of autographed photos. I've got more Blue Rodeo stuff than you can shake a stick at. Countless Blue Rodeo autographs. Why this? Well, this is my favorite of their albums. It is nearly impossible to find on vinyl because they press so very, very few of them. So the fact that this is an autographed copy, I treasure it. That one is signed and hangs on my wall. I do have an unsigned playing copy as well, courtesy of my good friend Bob Egan when he was in the band. It's Bob, any chance there's any more of these kicking around? Because I'd like to have a player copy. He hooked me up. So fantastic album, hard to find, signed by them all. Not going to get rid of it ever. And lastly, again, I've shown this before too. This is Tom Cochrane and Red Rider, Victory Day. Big Tom Cochrane fan. The man's a legend, just inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame just recently. I saw him here in my hometown. This is autographed. Sorry about the ring light there, but you can see it's autographed there. He played in my hometown. I bought a VIP ticket for the show, which meant I got to go backstage. There was only 3 or 4 people at the meet and greet. So got to spend a fair amount of time with Tom, talked with him for quite a bit. Most memorable experience meeting musician, and I've met a lot of Canadian musicians. And this guy is the biggest of them that I've met. And he was just such a wonderful, genuine, caring man. I showed him a video of my son when my son was like 4 with a plastic ukulele screaming "Life is a Highway," and Tom loved it. He gave me an autographed picture to give to my son, and it said he signed it to Parker, "Life is a Highway, your friend Tom Cochrane," and hangs up in my son's room. Very cool memory. He wouldn't let me go without giving him a hug. It was a very cool. It's one of those times you meet a hero and they were everything you hope they could be and more. So as a result, this will never leave me. This is, again, priceless. There you go, Cam. There are 5 records that under no circumstances will I sell. Are there others? Yeah, I could probably pull another 5 quite easily, but those are the 5 that are of the most importance, mainly all for sentimental reasons. So there you go, folks. Just a quick one today. Please check out Cam at The Vinyl Narrative. I will leave the link in the description. Great channel, wonderful dude. Also, check us out Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern for our live stream, live from the basement with myself and Joe from On AV and Racer Records, and Daryl from the Northern Vinyl Guy. We always get together. We have guests who talk about something fun. Please check us out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. That's everything for me today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know in the comments, what are your most cherished records, the one that you can't put a price on, the ones that you will never part with. I'm quite intrigued to hear what they are. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Catch you on the flip side.